Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today as we go from Christmas to New Year's? Just 1 second. Hey, Alex, how are you? Good morning. Just Daria's quickly messaging me. All right, so had kind of a mixed day yesterday, but all the good games won, so happy about that. So if we start in the NFL, I had San Diego. I betted it -4. It went up to -5.5, 6. Have them even against New England. They went 40-7. Never really a doubt there. Uh, the next game, Denver Cincy. I play the over in the game. I was thinking of playing Denver 9, and I thought, well, the over would be a better bet. So I'm over 41 or 43. I'm over 43, and I'm looking at the score at 10-10, and I'm like, I'm done. Starting the fourth, and it goes 17 all, and I go, oh, well, 34. I only need 10 points. There was 8 minutes left, and then with 2 minutes left, I got both teams scored, and there was definitely a touchdown for Denver. The guy had it, he caught it, he came down, and then the other guy kind of took it from him. So he had already landed; it was already a catch, and so with 8 seconds left, I win the over, and then they go to overtime, and since he wins, so since he still has an outside chance, but they gotta hope like Miami loses, and I guess Indy loses, and then Denver has to lose to KC next week, and they have to beat Pittsburgh. So they still have that slim chance, which is what I was betting on because I knew Burrow would play, if they had a chance, and they did. Yeah, now you go back to losing to New England week 1, and they're killing themselves. The night game, I go over 41 with the Rams and Arizona. I know the Rams have to win, but that doesn't mean anything. And I'm shocked, 13-9. I mean, what the hell's going on? Cooper Cup. You got Cooper Cup and you got Pukanuka. Where the hell were they? Where's Stafford? What the fuck kind of coaching was this? 13-9. Again, these let's go for fourth down. And they almost always go for these fourth downs, like at the 20. I think one was at the 10. That might have been the Cincinnati game. And they never get them. And it's incredibly stupid. I love the play calling. Let's run up the middle on 4th and 1, and we'll lose 2 yards. Whoever's the offensive coordinators are so stupid. The coaches need to be fired for this fourth down shit. If Cincinnati would have kicked their 2 field goals, you wouldn't have went to overtime. And the Rams, I don't know what that wasn't football. 13-9. So I lose the over there, but it was a very small bet. I did not like the over very much because of Kyler Murray, and sometimes he shows up and sometimes he doesn't. And this is the time they didn't show up. I was a little afraid because Arizona beat them the first time that they could beat them this time. They matched up, so that's why I didn't take the Rams even, and I took Arizona. So I hit the big ones though were San Diego and two big teasers, and Denver over in two big teasers. So that was the play. The Rams were a very small teaser. So that's why when people get on me for my percentage, I don't care. It's the units won, right? If I hit a 21 unit San Diego Denver teaser and I lose an 11 unit Ram teaser, then that's fine. But it's not 50%. It's I won a hell of a lot more on Denver San Diego than I lost on the Rams. That's the whole reason I win. It's understanding the big plays from the little plays. All right, so let's look at the line today, since today's a pro day and there's, I don't think, any college. Let's see, where are my lines? NFL odds. I did add one pro game this morning, but very small. I don't love the game, but I think I kind of have to bet it. But I don't know what to do with it. All right, so we start off with Jacksonville, 1.5, 38 to Tennessee. This line went down from 40. I believe it's Kyle Rudolph or Mason Rudolph, one of the Rudolphs, against Mac Jones, who absolutely sucks. Play against Tennessee, 13-2. Play against Jacksonville, 13-2 also. Jacksonville is 13-3 as a home dog, but again, that's with Trevor Lawrence and what they're probably the worst team. They're a Z team. Tennessee's a W team, but I think they're better with Mason Rudolph. He scores a lot more. I think Tennessee's a very live dog in this game. 28 defense for Tennessee, 26 for Jacksonville. It's funny when you hear guys, "Oh, Tennessee's got a good defense." I'm like, what are you looking at? No, they don't. Neither does Jacksonville. Both these defenses suck. I don't know how Jacksonville can be favored. They couldn't beat Oregon or Georgia. So, see, here's where I talked to my friend at work, my associate. I don't know if he's my friend. And I talk about, I think college teams can beat pro teams. And he said, "Oh, no, there's no way." And I'm like, this is a perfect example. Jacksonville with Mac Jones, there's no way they could beat Oregon, probably Ohio State, Georgia, Mississippi. There's a lot of teams they couldn't beat. I don't know how they could. They're just terrible. I go back to the LSU team with Burrow and Chase and Jefferson. I go, they'd beat half the NFL because they're all pros, right? I cut myself. They're all pro. These guys are like Hall of Famers. Of course, they're going to beat a regular pro team because they're just so much better. Anyway, this is a game I am staying way away. I think Tennessee wins, but I can't play Tennessee here. Buffalo and the Jets. Buffalo 9.5, 10, and 44.5. Down from 40, so it's 46.5, 44.5. Now, this is a very windy game, I believe. This is rain, 20-mile-an-hour winds, and 54 degrees. So you got not only rain, but you got the wind. This is an under game, but I don't know how to bet Buffalo under, considering Josh Allen apparently is playing. I guess they want to wrap up the 2 seed. Baltimore did kill them, so they really don't want to play at Baltimore, if at all. So I guess they're trying. Aaron Rodgers is a little banged up, but I got that I don't see where he's out. So it's Rodgers against Allen. Uh, against. Let's see. Darnold. I mean, really, I mean, the Jets are terrible. They're 14-1 against in the teaser. I don't know what to do. I really, 44. I mean, Buffalo to me is an automatic over, so it's hard for me to go under yet. I can't see a lot of points in this game with the rain and the wind. This is the killer right here, right? You get the high winds and the rain, but it's warm. It's 60 degrees. Uh, so I don't know. I haven't played Buffalo. And again, I don't know that they need the game. They've clinched their division. They can't catch Kansas City. So I'm really unclear why they're playing their players unless they don't want to be the 3 seed and have to go to Baltimore is the only thing I can, and it makes sense. But it ain't like I need to win to get in the playoffs like Cincinnati did last night. So again, this is normally an overplay in Buffalo. They scored 30 points a game every fucking game, but you can't with the win. So I'm really torn here what to do. So I haven't done anything with it. Play against the Jets 14-1 and Buffalo's 13-2 in the teaser 6-1 over. I think Buffalo wins it, but doesn't score to the. I don't think it gets over. I think if you have to play this, it's hard to play Buffalo -4 against Aaron Rodgers, but I would think this is a under game with the win. Again, Buffalo an 18 with the 22 defense that really never shows up, and the Jets an under with the 23. So what I'm realizing, here's a 22 defense Buffalo, and they gave up 48 to the Rams and 42 to the Lions. And you go, well, what is a 22 defense? Because to me, the Eagles kind of shut teams down. They're probably the best defense. All right, Tampa Bay also 9.5, 10, 47.5. This is up from 8. Total went from 48. Yeah, it started 49, and now it's 47.5. There will be rain. It's warm in Tampa. Let's check the window. Weather, 10-mile-an-hour winds, not too bad. 74 and raining. So you do have the Baker, and you have Young has a hamstring issue, but he's probably just happy to play. Or you go to Darnold or Dalton, which I like better. I think Tampa wins. I don't know. It's a big number, especially against Carolina, who's been playing well. Carolina's a W team, but I think they're getting a little bit better, although the defense still sucks at 30. Tampa's an over team with the 24 defense. They beat them by 3, the game in Carolina, 27-24. Tampa is 13-2 in a teaser this year, 29-5 the last 2 years, which counts. You've had the same coach and quarterback, so that's my requisite of can I go back 2 years. Tampa's in a must-win game. Atlanta's in a must-win game. So Tampa and Atlanta are tied for first. Maybe they have an outside chance for a wild card because of Washington. So we will see. But I can't see Tampa losing this opportunity and pounding Carolina. I don't know. Carolina's been playing well. They'll run Chuba Hubbard all day, and their defense sucks. So Baker should have a big day, but their defense isn't that strong. Winfield Jr.'s out, so it's a tough day. It's a tough line, but Tampa needs the game. They are at home, but Carolina's playing better. Oakland 37.5 to New Orleans. Jesus, both teams suck so bad. Oakland's a Z team. They got rid of Devontae Adams. I think they're starting O'Connell. And then you've got New Orleans with, I guess, their starting Rattler, or it's going to be Hayner. So we know the starters are out. So you're basically dealing with backup quarterbacks. Oakland, a Z team with a 26 defense. New Orleans on an under with the 22. So New Orleans is struggling. Their offensive coordinator needs to be fired. Their coach was fired, needs to be fired again. They have no offense. Their defense is okay. Oakland's just terrible. Their coach stinks. You get rid of Devontae Adams. Your quarterback O'Connell sucked at Purdue. What do you think he's going to do in the pros? Anyway, that's what we have there. You got to be crazy to play that game. Maybe you play New Orleans just because Oakland's favorite over somebody. Talk about weak favorites. This is one of them. Total of 37.5. It's an awful low total, but I think this goes under. I don't see this. Where are you going to get points from with O'Connell and Rattler? Play against Oakland this year, 12-3. This is a game I just ignore. I mean, to actually bet on one of these teams, you got to be out of your mind. All right, Dallas, Philly. This is the perplexing game that I don't know what to do with. Philly is 7.5 now and 38. Now you've got CeeDee Lamb out. You've got Hurts out. Rush much better than Dak, so it's a positive that Rush is the quarterback. You got Pickett, who really didn't do much last week. He did a little, but it was basically Saquon Barkley running down their throats that really won it for Philadelphia. Dallas is playing very good. Now, this is a weather game. This is not raining anymore. It's going to be partly cloudy. They actually have a sun with a 12-mile-an-hour wind. So no more rain. 12-mile-an-hour winds. We know CeeDee Lamb's out, and we know I was going to say Donovan McNabb, and we know Hurst is out. So probably an under, but the under's down to 38. It's just such a low under. This is like Iowa, I can go maybe under 44. What did I do? Cut myself, Shane. So this is probably an under, but then I looked at it from all sides. My initial was take Dallas. That was my initial, and the spread was 10. And I like Dallas in 16 with Cooper Rush. But then I lost CeeDee Lamb. But then I lost Hurts. So there goes my over. Now, I normally like playing Philly under. I'm all fucked up on this game. And then I'm like, well, maybe I'll take Philly. They need to win to clinch, to stay with hopefully the 1 seed, or they haven't even won their division because Washington won last week. So Philly, this isn't doing. I mean, they're in the playoffs, but they're going to play to win the division. But Dallas is very good with Rush, but you've lost CeeDee Lamb. So I'm very confused by this game. Part of me likes Philly, part of me likes Dallas, and part of me like the over now likes the. I was going to go over 32 the other yesterday until I saw CeeDee Lamb out. And I go, well, I can't go over now. I thought they'll score 32. Just from Barkley and Rush, they'll get points. But so it's hard to go under 44. But Philly's defense is so strong that it probably wins. It's probably an under, and I don't know. Dallas and Philly are both good plays in this game. So I am confused. I'm going to adjust my score. I adjusted it down. I had a higher score, but obviously I can't go with it. Not without Hurst and not without Lamb. You can't bet on Pickett, neither can I. I like Rush, but I don't have CeeDee Lamb. I can't bet Pickett, but I'm betting Barkley. And then it kind of comes to, do I bet the under? And that's where it all, when I like the defensive injuries and I like betting the overs like I did in Miami yesterday, I kind of like here without Lamb and Hurst, you're not getting over. You're probably getting under, probably the prudent play. Rush won't do much against this defense. Pickett's just going to hand the ball to Barkley. So, yeah, this is the problem with the backups. Morning, Sean. Who we talking about? What team? Right now, I'm talking the Dallas Philly game. It's not raining there anymore. The wind isn't too bad, and we're talking injuries. So Hurst is out. CeeDee Lamb is out. We already know whatchamacallit's out, and we like Cooper Rush better anyway than Dak. Great defense for Philly. Not so great defense from Dallas. Probably a low-scoring game, but you're dealing with the 38, which makes it really difficult. Anyway, okay, all right. Yeah, I'm with you, Alex. It's hard to bet Pickett. And you don't have to play this game. I'm just kind of trying to. Philly needs the game. Dallas is out of it. You don't have CeeDee Lamb. What's Rush going to throw to? You don't have Hurst, which is probably a good thing. But I don't like Pickett either. The total is 37.5, 38. So this is a tough under at 44. Probably the best bet of this game is the under 44. But I could see it going over that. I'm really tempted to go over 30, 31.5, 32. Barkley will score, and Dallas with Cooper Rush will score. Okay, you don't have CeeDee Lamb, but their backups are okay. These are pros. This isn't college. So the other receivers are pros. Barkley will run the daylight. Dallas with the 27 defense. It's Philly's defense will dominate. So you either lay the 1.5 or you go under is all I can see. But like Alex is saying, I don't love Pickett. All right. Indy and the New York Giants. Indy 7.5, 40.5. Indy's an E team. They both have 24 defenses. The Giants, it's not Richardson. He's out. So I believe we're getting Flacco. I almost said Falco, from the movie. Flacco against Locke. Locke's terrible. Locke wasn't bad at Missouri, but he's not doing anything here. Flacco, he plays great when he comes in. I don't know why he's not starting. I don't know why you went back to Richardson, who quit before. He's got a bad back. Play against Indy is 15-0. Play against the Giants 27-5. Play against Indy is 13-2 in a teaser. Indy has to win. To have any chance, especially they can go 9-8 now. Denver's 9-7 can go 9-8, and apparently, I don't know. I know Cincinnati's got a very small chance to get in. So does Indy and Miami. They can all get to 9-8, and who knows after that. So Indy does have a chance, and with Flacco, I think Indy laying 7.5. I don't. If it was Richardson, I wouldn't touch it. But with Flacco, I like. But again, I'm not playing this game. But probably an under, and probably Indy. Like, do you bet Indy? They have to win it to have any chance. But can you bet them? I don't. Just because you have to win it doesn't mean you will win it, right? Look at the Rams last night. They had to win, and they won 13-9. I mean, it was like, what am I watching? College football? Miami 333. Look at this total. Holy fuck. 333. Tag is out. So what do you got? Skylar Thompson. That's why you got the low thing. And I'm not sure. Let's see if we get any injury news. Is it Thompson Robinson? Is it Miami Tag doubtful with the hip? I heard he's out. A lot of injuries. Even Waddle's questionable with the knee. Hill's questionable with the wrist that he broke in training camp. Winston questionable with the shoulder, and Thompson Robinson's injured with the calf. So I assume they go to Thompson Robinson, who needs to go back to UCLA. Winston, 2 interceptions a game. Najuhu, the tight end, is out, and we know Chubb is out, the running back. He broke his foot, I guess. Funny, they don't list it on here, though. You have to know that because they're not putting Chubb on. So that's it. A wide receiver, Tillman's out also for Cleveland. So they basically suck. Let's check our weather. I think it's nasty here. Here it's 20-mile-an-hour winds. Oof, that's an under. Rain starting at 5 o'clock. Overcast and rain and 20-mile-an-hour winds off the lake. So Buffalo and Cleveland are getting very big wins. You can only bet those games under. You can't bet it over. But how the fuck? Well, I guess because Taig's out and you're going with Skylar Thompson, I guess. He can't do shit. He's terrible. And either Thompson Robinson or Winston both suck. A lot of wind. This went from 40 to 37, and it's at fucking 32 now. Holy shit. 30, let's call it 33. So what do you think the score will be? I don't know how either of them get to 14. Now Miami needs this game because apparently they're still involved in the playoffs. They can still get to 9-8, but I don't see them winning. I certainly can't bet on Skylar Thompson. I had a hard time betting on Tagovailoa, but I'm not betting on Thompson, and I can't take Thompson Robinson. This is an under, but Jesus, this is an Iowa under 39. So you got to hope 2017 comes in. Maybe it's windy. Chubb's out, so I don't know how they're going to run. Hunt's on Kansas City. Miami has no running. All they got is Tyreek Hill and Waddle. Mozart, I guess. I mean, this might not get to this might be 10-6 or something like this. And again, it's the wind. I don't care about the rain as much as I care about the wind. I thought it was supposed to rain in Cincinnati, but I didn't. Watching it on YouTube, I didn't see any rain. All right, so Miami theoretically is in the playoff hunt. They're still available, but yeah, good luck on that. All right, Minnesota, Green Bay. We don't have to look at the weather. It's in a dome. We got Minnesota 1 and 1.5. And we've got, so Green Bay was favored a little bit, and now Minnie's back, fully favored, 1.5 and 48.5. Love against Darnell. Minnie's really needs it because they're still in there for the 1 seed and the division. If they lose and Detroit wins, I don't know if Minnie can win next week. And so Minnie is they're both tied at 13-2, right? So if they go to 13-3 and Detroit goes to 14-2, and then they win, they both end 14-3. I guess Detroit would get the division and the 1 seed. Philly dropped out. Well, Philly needs Detroit to lose both games, but then that means Minnesota wins. And I don't know who wins the tiebreaker between Philly and Minnesota. So Minnie must win. Green Bay really doesn't need to win. They've already locked up, and they're a couple games back. Now, Green Bay's, of course, going to play. But this is tough. Now, let's check injuries. We don't have to check weather. Green Bay. Alexander, the all-pro cornerback's out. Quay Walker, my Georgia linebacker's out. E. Williams, the safety's out. So 3 pretty key players on defense are out. Minnesota, Moreau, the cornerback's out. And that's it. So Minnie's pretty healthy. The key is Jefferson and the other receiver. Darnold's looking good. They got Jones to run it. Yeah, Green Bay's 11-4. Minnie's 13-2. So Minnie could go to 13-4. Minnie won the first game. If Green Bay wins this and they go to 13-4, and Minnesota loses Detroit next week, 13-4. I don't know. Does Green Bay grab? What's the difference? They get the 5 seed or the 6 seed. Detroit will be the bye, and then it'll be the Rams and probably Tampa, and then Philadelphia. So it's a matter of, do you want to play, like, the worst seed will get Philly, which would not be either of these two. It'll be Washington, I guess, and Philly doesn't want to play Washington. So, yeah, there's really, I'm sure they'll both play, but it's more Minnesota needing it. They played very well. Minnesota, I have as an 18 defense. Green Bay A with the 21 defense. I thought about playing Minnie when Green Bay went favored by 1, but I didn't. Love and Darnold. Minnesota 29-3 in a teaser the last 2 years, 14-1 this year. Green Bay 29-5 in a teaser the last 2 years, 11-0 as a road dog, and 14-1 this year. So I got 2 14-1s playing in a 29-5 and a 29-3. All I know is I keep announcing Minnesota. They're 25-3. Boom, boom, boom. They keep winning. They keep covering. Some of them have been close, but they get you the money. Cleveland plus, huh, Sean? You want to bet Cleveland plus? You're out of your mind. I mean, because you got Thompson, Skylar Thompson against Thompson Robinson. You got 2 trash quarterbacks. I think the only way you can really play that game is under because of the win, but it's such a low under. But where are you going to get points with these quarterbacks? So I think it's under, but I'm not touching that game. All right, so Green Bay, Minnesota, Minnie must win. Green Bay, I'm sure is going to play to win too. So this should be an interesting game. Atlanta, Washington. Washington's down to 3.5 and 46. That's what it's been. It's been 47, 46.5 there. Penix against Daniels. What a beautiful matchup now. Let's see what the weather is. Rain and 58 with 13-mile-an-hour winds. Down to 12, down to 11. So it's a rain, but is it because Philadelphia is now it's now a sunny day in Philadelphia, and I thought Washington would get better. So I'm a little surprised we're still getting the rain there. But is it a pouring all day rain like Minnesota, like Green Bay, Detroit, or is it just kind of rain? We'll go into the other weather to get that. Injuries, Atlanta. I'm only like Alexander Hamilton, cornerbacks out, and K. King, cornerbacks out. So they got both their quarterbacks out, Atlanta. Now, I don't know if these are the starters or not. They should. They used to bold the starters, so you would know, oh, that's the starter. Let's see. Outside, offensive lineman Wiley for Washington's out. Lattimore's out with the hamstring. D. Brown, a wide receiver, is out, and another linebacker, McGee's out, and a safety's out. So a lot of defense out. You got the weather being, it's not cold, but it's raining and somewhat windy. Now, here's where you get into the aspect of Daniels. He runs well. He goes back to pass. I don't think the wind's going to bother his passes, and he runs. And I think that's the thing. Now, this is a must-win for both teams. Atlanta's an E team with the 23 defense. Their defense has always been their problem. Washington is a B kind of over team. They'll score a lot. Their defense is also 23. They played Kenny Pickett, 36-30 or whatever, something like that last week. Penix, look for him. He was sharp last week. His interception hit the guy in the hands at the goal line. He hits Pitts, Great Pitts. Couldn't catch the fucking pass. Hits him right in the hands, right here at the goal line. The ball pops up and it gets intercepted. You want to blame Penix on that? Be my guest. He threw it. There was like 3 times he threw it, and the guy got tackled at the 2-yard line, and then they scored touchdowns. Now they got a few pick sixes in the game, so they didn't really score 34 offensively. They scored 20, but the pick sixes helped. Atlanta's in a must-win. Not only do they have a shot for the wild card if they can catch Washington, because they're playing Washington, it's a double. If they win, they're still alive for the division. I'm assuming Tampa is going to beat Carolina, but it's not as easy as it would have been before with Steve Young. But then they pick up a game on Washington. So this is a very critical game for Washington because they can still miss the playoffs if they lose this week and they lose now. Who are they playing next week? It's either the Giants or Dallas. Where's the schedule? Atlanta's got Carolina next week. And Washington's got Dallas next week. Who they lost to at Dallas. But CeeDee Lamb is out, so that might help them. So it's not an easy game for Washington with Cooper Rush. And it'll be inside in Dallas. So Washington is in a must-win here because they don't want to go to Dallas, who beat them 34-26, and play that game. So it's a very must-win for both teams. And normally, the better defense, they're both 23 defenses, and they both are missing cornerbacks and safeties. Lattimore's out for Washington. Atlanta's got their 2 cornerbacks out. And then you got the wind and the rain. So, I played it, but, I'm hoping it'll come in. And then we got Detroit, Frisco. Detroit 3.5, 50.5. No rain, no wind here. This is a nice 50 degrees and very low wind. And no, it's cloudy and 50. It drops down to 44 at 11 o'clock. It is the Monday night game. So you don't have wind, you don't have rain. And the Lions have to win no matter what Minnesota does. If Minnesota loses, they win. They get the 1 seed, I believe. And if Minnie loses, if Minnie wins, they got to win, or Minnie can get the 1 seed next week. So Detroit's going full force, and we got the revenge game. Frisco cost them the Super Bowl. Well, actually, their head coach cost them the Super Bowl. But Frisco, it is a revenge. They lost the championship game, and Frisco's a mess. All their injuries. I don't understand this spread at 3.5. You got to be fucking kidding me. My spread was 7, and that was probably generous, but that was only because of the defensive injuries. But Brock Purdy, you got Deebo Samuel and Kittle, but you don't have McCaffrey or the next running back. So, yeah, Deebo Samuel will get his, but Frisco's in trouble. I see Bosa playing. I'm not sure if Greenlaw is going to play, coming back from the Achilles. So that is it. Let's go to the NFL weather. And really, we just want to check. So we got the Indy Giant game 45 in fog with no wind. That'll be interesting in the fog. See, now here it says Buffalo is 50 degrees with rain and an 8-mile-an-hour wind, but we saw where the wind was much higher. Now here it says south wind 13 to 23 with gusts up to 44 and for sure rain. So they don't change their front, but when you go inside, you can see. So this is very windy and very rainy. Again, probably lower scoring. Buffalo probably jumps out and then just sits on the ball and runs the clock. We don't care about New Orleans. In Oakland, it's in a dome. Tampa Bay, we got 75 and cloudy and 8 mile an hour. We don't have the rain anymore. Showers and thunderstorms likely, partly sunny, high 76. Temperatures going all the way down to 72. Poor Bobby in Tampa. So it's a little bit of rain, but not an all-day rain, and it's 70, and it's not that windy. Dallas and Philly, as we see, it's not raining there anymore. It's cloudy and 61 with 11 mile an hour winds with the backup quarterbacks. Jacksonville, Tennessee, who gives a shit? In Jacksonville, sunny and 70. Miami and Cleveland, we know. Now here it's slight chance of rain, but we know it's going to pour. Showers and thunderstorms likely, then rain. What's the difference? Isn't it all rain? Showers, thunderstorms likely before midnight. What, today or tomorrow? Or, Sunday midnight? Who cares? The game's at 1 o'clock. Southwest wind 21 to 28 mile an hour. Wind gusts as high as 51. Chance of rain 100%. So this is just, this has got to be an under game. 33, 39. Can they get to 39 with these quarterbacks? I don't think they can get to 20. First team to 10 wins. Mini, we don't care. It's in a dome. Washington, definitely rain, 60 degrees, 13 mile an hour winds. Patchy fog. Oh, interesting. A chance of rain showers before 7 p.m. This is the Sunday night game. Then fog and showers and thunderstorms between 7 and 1. Then patchy fog and scattered rain showers between 1. Well, we don't care, 1 a.m. Mostly cloudy, low around 49. South wind 7 to 14 mile an hour. So the wind's not too bad. Chance of, so it's going to rain, foggy because it's hot out, 60 degrees. But I remember that Eagle-Bear game in the fog. The cameras couldn't pick it up, but they could, on the field, they were fine. It's not a field effect. So again, that's all they need in this critical game. They're getting rain and slight winds, some fog, and then Detroit's 51 and no wins, as I said. So really, as much as Atlanta and Washington need the game, it is a game played in the rain and a little bit of rain, a little bit of wind. Now, how does it really affect the defense? Is it going to be a low scoring game? And I say no. It hurts the defense because I know I'm going to cut at the 20-yard line and and cross over the middle, and you don't. So you're going to react and you're going to slip more than likely because it's on grass in Washington. So I think it's an offensive edge if the wind's not too strong. And like I said, Penix zips the ball in, and so does Daniels. Penix is not that big of a runner as Daniels is. So I think the edge goes to Daniels because he can run it. And again, this is Penix. If this was Cousins, I'd be locking Washington. But with Penix, he plays big games. That's what he is. He's a big game player. He beat Oregon twice in Texas last year. He's a big gamer. So we'll see. I mean, again, I think you give the edge to Washington. It's must win at home for them. And Daniel is probably a little bit better in the rainy conditions running than Penix might be. But we'll see. Hopefully this, hopefully it doesn't screw the game up too much. So I got 2 locks in this mess. Yesterday's lock wins easy. Miami of Florida, Iowa State over was the lock. Once I knew Cam was playing, whatever his last name is. So I had over, it was 58.5. Cam Ward, he plays lock, played it in 2 teasers. It wins. Yesterday was a good day. I had Miami in a lot in two plays. The Army comes through. I think I had the Army with somebody the other day. And then I lost, but it was good. I had TCU over, which didn't get there, but I had it with East Carolina over. So both teasers lost, which is how you want it, right? If I'm going to lose the one, I might as well lose the second in the same because the teasers lost. So, and that was a small teaser, TCU, East Carolina, the big teaser, Army, and then Miami of Florida over was the lock, and that was beautiful. I started looking the first quarter, and it's 14-7, and then it goes 14-14, and I go, I got 28, and the first quarter's not over yet, and I only need 52, and I'm thinking, oh, this is a joke, and it went 76 or something because I knew if Cam Ward was playing, they're going to light it up. And Iowa State's defense isn't what it normally is. They've been giving up a lot of points. So I knew Iowa State was not the regular Iowa State with the 10 defense. They have a 21, which I didn't buy. Kansas State, what did they lose? Arizona State put up 44 on them. The one game I did enjoy, but I didn't play, was BYU Colorado. BYU just killed them. I loved it. Poor Coach Prime Jr. looked like he threw 2 interceptions. If you think Prime Jr. is the number 1 quarterback in the draft, you're out of your fucking mind. The number 1 has got to be Oregon. I don't know what else you want from the guy. Very clutch, good runner, but an excellent passer. Whatchamacallit? God, my names. I'm losing my mind. Anyway, Dylan Gabriel. So you got Gabriel should be 1. The guy from Texas State should be number 2. He's outstanding. Very strong passer, and he can run. They play North Texas later on January 3rd, and I look for Texas State there. He's number 2, and then you've got these other guys. Cam Ward, pretty good, not great. Trying to think of my quarterbacks. Let's see. Urs is not very good. Not SMU, not Penn State, not Indiana, not Notre Dame. So none of the big quarterbacks. Well, let's see. Arizona State, Scadaboo is really good, the running back. Boise, same thing with Gentry. Like I said, Oregon, Gabriel, and Georgia, no quarterback there. So that's what you have. But you got 5 or 6 good quarterbacks. Shao from Louisville is pretty good. He's from Texas Tech. I don't know. I wouldn't go after Prime Jr. And certainly not Milrose. Oh my God, does he stink? Louisville's is okay. Baylor. Baylor's guy's pretty good. He came in and did a lot. Not LSU. Duke. Now Old Miss's guy did enter the portal. Dart, but I don't like. He runs a little too much, but he's not that good. I'll have to study the quarterbacks, but they're more from like Morris from North Texas, but he's staying in school. Texas State's guy is very good. Yours sucks. Marshall's quarterback's really good, but I don't know if he's coming out. I love Norton. Navy beat Oklahoma. I called it. I loved it. Anyway, why do people forget certain games? Like, why do people forget that Oregon killed Penn State? I don't understand that. Oregon wins the game 45-37, and everybody forgot. Oh, Ohio State's going to beat Oregon. I heard that yesterday. Ohio State, they got all the pros. Oregon had already beat them, didn't they? And then they killed Penn State on a neutral site. I know me and Alex had this discussion where he's saying, well, they only win at home. And I'm going, well, they won against Penn State in Indianapolis. So I don't get that. And this is at the Rose Bowl, and it's pretty much at home for them. And so I'm kind of confused against a good Penn State defense, which was a 14. They put up 45 points, and everybody's acting like, what? That Penn State's got this great defense, and Oregon can't win on the road. And I'm like, what are we watching here? So I don't quite get that. Just like the Lions, they signed Teddy Bridgewater, and you're like, there's nothing wrong with Hooker. He did beat Alabama, which everybody seems to forget, 50-49. So again, I don't understand it. Anyway, nothing today in the college. Tomorrow we got Iowa and Missouri. The running back I don't think is playing for Iowa. The quarterback will. The backup quarterback is playing in Missouri. I don't know if Brady Cook's playing. Who knows? This total is 40. Without the running back, I don't know. But I don't want to get too much into college. So, into the pros. We know. So, Tampa Bay is in a must-win. Indy's in a must-win. Minnesota's really in a must-win more than Green Bay because they're going for the division and 1 seed. Buffalo, I don't know what they're playing for. The 2 seed, I guess. Philly's in a must-win because they haven't won their division. And Atlanta, Washington is a playoff game because whoever loses is going to have a hard time getting into the playoffs because Tampa will not lose to Carolina. It might be a close game, but they're not going to lose. And then Detroit's playing for the win the division and the 1 seed. So Detroit hasn't even clinched their division at 13-2 or whatever. So whatever Minnesota does, Detroit still has to win. I kind of worried about that going, wait, if Minnesota loses, does Detroit have to win? And yeah, they do, because if they lose, then Minnesota wins next week, and Minnesota wins the division and the 1 seed. So no matter what, Detroit needs to win. And Minnie needs to win, and pretty much. And we had locked Baltimore on Wednesday, and then we had Seattle under, which won, and then yesterday was San Diego. Easy winner. We had the Denver Cincinnati over, which I have no idea how I won that. I couldn't believe I looked at the score and it was 10-10 in the third quarter. I'm like, okay, I need 4 touchdowns. And then I saw 17 all with 12 minutes left with 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I go, oh, okay, I need 10 points. So if I get a field goal and a touchdown, I win. And I never dreamed I'd get 2 touchdowns in the last few minutes, but that's why we got Joe Burrow and we bet on him. All right. I've gone through like the weather, the teaser trends, the injuries, the lines, questions, comments. Alex can't bet on Pickett. Yeah, the only other way to play that game's under because of the wind and the. Well, no, there's no wind there. It's actually a sunny day there. Little bit of wind. Then you just got you're basically giving the ball to Barkley. It's going to be an Army Navy game, I think. So that's the NFL today. 1 o'clock. We got 45 minutes. All right, let's talk economics, unless anybody has any other questions. The injuries we know of: CeeDee Lamb's out, Hurts is out, Tua's out, Richardson's out. And those are probably, I guess you got O'Connell and let's say Rattler or Hayner in that game. Who cares? Tennessee's probably going to start Randolph against Mac Jones. Like Trevor Lawrence is injured. Does anybody even know or care? Nah, he sucks. All right. So let's go to a little economics. All right. So I was watching this thing on Warren Buffett, who I don't like, and it really proves how stupid he is. Where did I put it? This is weird. I know I watched it, but it's not coming up on my phone. There's a few problems with China. Uh, China's Shanghai's middle class is ruined. Homes drop from $400,000 to $50,000. Now they will call this deflation. I call it that's the market. The market. Nobody has 400K to pay. All they can do is pay 50 grand. It's not deflation. It's the market being the market. I don't know why people want to say deflation. That's a very Keynesian word, just like elastic and inelastic. Farming industry collapsing. China is now buying a lot of corn and wheat from Brazil and from places in Africa and Asia, not relying on just the US, which is smart. You want competition. So Trump's crying, but he deserves to cry. We can't force them. In China, millions of workers are fleeing. Crisis in Beijing, streets filled with people. 800 million Chinese in debt, 400 million overdue. So China's all fucked up, but they have gold. And China government funds depleted, so you can't withdraw from the bank unless the police approve it. So if you got 100 grand in the bank in China and you go, I don't want my money, you can't get it. You need the police to approve it. Why do you need the money? And it's coming to a theater near you. Don't kid yourself. So where the hell is the Warren Buffet one? Unless it's in a different spot. Huh, I can't. Well, let's view all. Let's try this one. I never thought about buying silver. This is Warren Buffett Buffet, as we call him.
Burnout. We all experience it at some point. It's so important to me that I've actually been working on it in therapy.
Now, this is what I'm trying to do is explain that he's an idiot, right? And I'm gonna attack him and prove he's an idiot, and that's the point of it. We don't like Warren Buffett. He's not intelligent, but everybody thinks he's God Well, look how good an investor he is, and all he does is buy 1 million shares of Disney. Oh yeah, real intelligent. All right.
Regional decision, my decision.
Editor of the Omaha World Herald and a congressman from Nebraska, and whose brother was governor of Nebraska, who was the big silver man. And they used to talk 16 to 1. The 16 to 1 ratio, I think, goes back to Isaac Newton when he was master of the mint. Charlie will know all about that because he's our Newtonian expert here. But that ratio had kind of mystical significance for a while. It didn't really mean anything. And in 1934, the government passed an act called the Silver Purchase Act of, surprisingly, 1934, which set an artificially high price for silver at that time, when production and usage was much less. And the government, the U.S. government, ended up accumulating 2 billion ounces of silver. Now, this was at a time when demand was a couple 100 million ounces a year, so you're talking 10 years supply. So there was an artificially high price for a while. By the early 1960s, that became an artificially low price of $1.29. And at that time, I could see the inventories of the U.S. government being depleted, somewhat akin to what inventories are being depleted now. And despite the fact that Lyndon Johnson and the administration said they would not demonetize silver, they did demonetize it, and silver went up substantially. That was the last purchase we had of silver, but I've kept track of the figures ever since. The Hunt brothers caused a great amount of silver to be converted into bullion form, including a lot of silver coins. So they, again, increased the supply in a very big way by their action and pushing the price way up to the point where people started melting it down. So you had this dislocations in silver over a 60-plus year period, which has caused the price to be affected by these huge inventory accumulations and reductions. And we think right now that, we thought last summer when we started buying it, that at the price we bought it, that was not an equilibrium price, and that sooner or later, and we didn't think it was imminent because we don't wait till things are imminent. We were going to buy a lot of silver. We didn't want to buy so much as to really disrupt the market. However, we had no intention of replaying any hunt scenarios. So we wanted to be sure we didn't buy that much silver, but we liked it. Charlie?
Well, I think this whole episode will have about as much impact on Berkshire Hathaway's future as Warren's bridge playing. We've got a line of activity where once every 30 or 40 years you can do something employing 2% of assets. This is not a big deal for Berkshire. The fact that it keeps Warren amused and
I did like
not doing counterproductive things.
It makes me feel better about all those pictures that people take over the weekend. They all use a little bit of silver.
At least it shows something that teaches an interesting lesson. Think of the discipline it takes to think about something for 3 or 4 decades, waiting for a chance to employ 2% of your assets. I'm afraid that.
Okay, so these two morons are just clueless. Warren Buffett thinks that it's the demand by using it for pictures, which are digital. So I don't know how old this is. They just don't get it. It's silver's money, and it's because of the dollar going to zero is why you own gold and silver. The dollar has no value, but they don't understand that. And they're thinking that the only way silver goes up is if it's used for pictures or, this is before the solar panels and the electric cars, obviously. And the problem, see, he doesn't get it, that of the money, but being who knows when this was done, he's probably not that worried about the inflation effect or printing the money to zero. That's really the problem with it. So he doesn't get what gold and silver are. He doesn't see the return. He's treating it as a stock. Well, they just sit in the ground. They don't do anything. Well, you're missing the point. Gold and silver are not because they're, what does a Rolex do? It goes up in value. It just tells time. What does a It doesn't do anything. It just sits there and it goes up because he misses the demand point. He, he misses the money point. Silver's money, gold's money. That's why you own it, not because it works in Tomahawk missiles or solar panels. These are not regular assets, and they don't understand. These are money that are very limited, and they miss the whole supply demand function. If all the central banks are buying gold to get out of the dollar, there's not that much gold there. So the demand is huge, which would push the price up. However, and he made a comment, we didn't want to do what the Hunt brothers did, and we didn't want to raise the price. You couldn't have raised the price or done what the Hunt brothers bought contracts. They didn't buy physical silver. And what he's doing, let's say he's buying physical silver, is not going to raise the price because you don't really buy it from COMEX, me and you. We go to their store, which they get from the treasury. So I could order 50 ounces of quarter ounce gold. He said I'd have to order 20 of them. I could order them. They would get it from the mint. But he doesn't want to bring them in. He says, you're the only one who asked for them. I go, that's bullshit. I heard some guy on the phone when I walked in going, hey, I'm looking for dimes and quarters and half. And even if I am, I'll buy them, but I don't want to always have to buy an ounce. And then I caught him where I got him on the backside. I said, yeah, I might pay, let's say it's 700 for the quarter ounce. So it cost me 28 for 4 of them versus 27.20 for an ounce. But on the way back, I get 725, which is the 2,800, and I couldn't get that for the ounce either. So it's a you got to look at it both ways. But the demand for the price of gold is not anything to do with the purchasing. It's all COMEX. It's all derivatives being bought and sold. It is a Madoff Ponzi scheme. And it is, when the government sets prices instead of the market, it's always fucked. And that's what you have now. You have the government, JP Morgan, who's the government, setting prices with derivatives. But the thing is, here comes China and India and Russia buying it. So they're on our side if we want the gold price to go up. Now, I know Alligator keeps saying it's not gold going up, it's the dollar going down. He gets half the concept, but not the whole concept. So what he's saying is it's because the dollar's losing value, Coca-Cola price went up. But it's not really Coke's price going up. It's because the dollar keeps losing value. All the prices go up. And he's right. But in gold, there's a double hit. There's not only the price being low, it's also like the dollar going down does raise the price, but the demand also raises the price. Because all these central banks are buying it and Russia and China are buying it, he misses the point of the demand being more than the supply raises the price. He can't seem to understand that. You can only say, well, it's the dollar dropping, but I don't agree with that because the dollar's gone. All right, it's 1%. That's it. The dollar's gone. And it's not the, it's the, how much farther does the dollar drop raising the gold price? The gold price is strictly going because of the Russia, China, India, the BRICS buying the gold. That's why the gold price is going up. It's demand, not necessarily because the dollar's dropping. Because you can't explain it then because the dollar continuously drops. It never gets better. And so therefore, why does gold go from 2,700 to 2,630? Why does gold ever go down? If we listen to Alligator and he says, well, it's the dollar, it's the dollar going down. That's why gold's going up. Well, wait a minute. The dollar's still going down, but gold's going down. Explain that one, Charlie. He can't because he doesn't understand. It's based on the price fixing of the derivatives that control the price, not the dollar going down and gold's going up because everybody wants to buy it at these cheap prices. So again, Warren Buffett, and his little friend are just, they don't get it. They don't understand what it is, that it is money. They don't understand that their dollars are worthless. So this is what they're missing. Well, why buy silver? Because your stocks are going to be worthless. So why did Buffett Buffet just sell a bunch of bank stocks? And you're sitting on the money waiting for everything to collapse instead of getting into gold and silver, which is about to go to the moon because of the dollar. Now, gold is not simply an inflation hedge. Um, if people really understood it and it was really free market, a lot more people would buy it no matter what the dollar was doing. But the way they've kept it down and they kept the silver price down, which he doesn't understand and he doesn't talk about, he doesn't say, well, it's derivatives. That's why the price is down. He sits there and it doesn't move, like he thinks there's no demand for it. That's why it doesn't move. He's out of his mind. Let's play another minute of this.
It means there'll be some dull stretches.
Right. Yeah, it's less than $1 billion in silver. It's $15 billion in coke. You know, it's
a non-event.
It's $5 billion in American Express. I mean, it is close to a non-event, but if you see it there,
at least it shows the human personality at work. Very peculiar personality, I might add.
Reinforced by a partner.
Yeah.
Do you have any silver on you, Charlie? we had a lot of silver at one time, but we don't have it now. The original decision, my decision, was that the production of silver and the reclamation of silver, I don't remember the numbers exactly now, but they were running perhaps 100 million ounces or thereabouts less than the consumption. And now a lot of consumption has gone down in photography, but that's where the reclamation was too, so that those tended more to balance each other out. I haven't looked at the figures for the last year or so, but silver was out of balance. Now, on the other hand, there were enormous quantities of silver above ground, and there were huge quantities of silver that could possibly be removed from other uses, perhaps, in jewelry and all kinds of things.
So he thinks there's a big supply of silver, which it isn't. So he doesn't know. All right, enough of the wasting our time with this. There's a thing on this Robert Kawasaki guy who's bankrupt, and he's trying to come across like he's got money and I got all this money, and he's gone bankrupt like 5 times. All right, we'll watch a little Mark McGuire or Alligator. I didn't see Mark McGuire do a show this week. At least it hasn't come on.
General public begins to grasp that it's probably surprised a lot of people that despite the price rise, the Chinese are continuing to buy. So are other central banks. So what's all this about? Well, I mean, the answer is quite simple. And that is, it's not gold going up, it's paper currencies going down. And this is very, very important. It's very important to get this message early because when the general public finally realizes that it's not the price of eggs or the price of coffee or whatever going up, but actually the purchasing power of their currency going down, then the currency is doomed. And when the general public wakes up to it, I can tell you, the dollar, sterling, euro, yen will all be a lot lower. Now, I put it that way rather than saying gold is going to be a lot higher. Because if you think as an investor, you look at gold and you think gold's gone up. I mean, as we talk, I don't know what it'll be when this is released, but as we talk, it's had a good day. I see it's up $18. It's currently trading at 2,712, challenging the levels we saw, sort of 4 weeks ago. If it breaks that, then it's going to go and hit new highs and so on. But do we really want to pay this much for gold? I mean, perhaps we should hang on and wait for a decent shakeout. It's gone too far. But the point they miss is it's not gold going up. It's the currencies going down. Now, obviously, nothing goes down in a straight line or in an even tempo. But I think if you understand that, then you understand that really what your strategy should be is not trading it, but actually accumulating it and accumulating the physical, not paper. This is a very, very important point. And of course, the whole of the investment industry has a difficulty here because gold is not a regulated investment. So how do you get it past your compliance officer? Well, the answer is you go out and buy ETFs. But your problem with the ETF is you don't own the gold. And worse than that, not only do you not own the gold, you don't actually own the shares in the ETFs unless you have specifically decided to take delivery of certificates. Now, this is a very important point because the owner of, or if you like, the owner of the certificates, in effect, is the clearinghouse, the intermediary, the big boys in the middle, basically, who guarantee settlement, Euroclear, whatever. And why have they got it? Well, I mean, the answer is quite simple. You've got a huge, great derivative mountain, which is absolutely enormous. And the fear is that at some stage we get a crisis and that could be jeopardized. So what they want is they want your stock to have as collateral to deliver in order to ensure that that whole mountain of deliveries of derivatives doesn't collapse. So, ETFs don't get you out of it.
In today's financial landscape, the notion that gold prices are rising is a pervasive misconception. What is actually happening, as Alistair McLeod aptly points out.
See, this is total bullshit. It is price going up because why is the price? So in their world, gold would never go down because once the dollar's losing value, it never gains value. It loses value because you print it. Unless you burn all of it, you keep printing it, the value would keep going down in the dollar and gold would keep going up. But wait, gold went from 27.80 down to 25.30. Why did that go down? The dollar didn't get stronger. It can't because they keep printing it. The dollar can only get weaker and weaker and weaker till it goes out, and that's where we're at. So this is their theory is full of bullshit. Yet it is the dollar losing the value, which makes you need more dollars to buy things. So in part, they're correct, but it's not that simple in gold that there's a lot of demand for gold, which raises the price, not the dollar going down. So the dollar on one hand is losing value and it takes more dollars to buy goods, Coca-Cola, Oreos, whatever you want to call it. That's fine. I get that. However, in the gold stance, there is huge demand making the price go up, which he doesn't get. It's like these guys going for fourth down. Well, the odds are 51% we should go for it on fourth down. And what they don't count is, but if we don't get it, we lose the game. That part isn't told. So it is gold going up based on demand. So, yeah, that's where they're full of shit. The dollar is losing value, we all know, because they're printing it. But does it mean that the gold is going up because the dollar is going down? It's going up because of the demand, just like any other product. So he kind of misses that point. So he's not really understanding.
Is the devaluation of paper currencies. The fall of fiat currency purchasing power is being misinterpreted as price increases across various commodities, including gold. This misunderstanding obscures the gravity of the financial situation. For years, fiat currencies like the dollar, euro, yen, and sterling have been losing value. Yet the average investor views this through the lens of rising prices instead of declining currency strength.
This is the most powerful prayer to attract money. Don't skip this video. God wants to speak to you. Use this through the lens of right.
Yeah. Okay, God. Hey, say hey to God. This is the part that they miss is yes, the dollar's losing value. That's what inflation, they don't understand what inflation is. It's printing the money, making the money worth less because you're flooding the market with too much money, which then means if you're doing that, that it takes more dollars to buy everything. Hamburgers, Coke, but they're not all the same. And gold is certainly you have to factor in demand. If there's no demand for Burger King, they go out of business, right? So even though the dollar's worth less, doesn't mean everything stays in, and doesn't mean the price always goes up because like Coke can't raise their price because Pepsi won't. So there's that. But they kind of catch a little of it. Their point is, well, it's the dollar going down, not prices going up. That is kind of true, but there are items that the demand is raising the price, and there's items that even though the dollar's going down, the price is not going up because it can't, because of that's the point. It can't go up because of competition. So steaks, I went and got hamburger yesterday. It was still $4.50 a pound, or it was like $5 for the 85 sirloin. Well, the price didn't go up. The dollar's worthless. So one hand, it's inflation. You're printing money. The dollar loses value. But it's got nothing to do with prices, and certainly nothing to do with the gold price going up. Is 99% demand, 1% because the dollar's worth less. And it's really like they don't get it. They're really, that's the trouble with the alligator. He doesn't all he wants to do is say it's the dollar going down, which is, it's true, but that's what inflation is, which he doesn't get. But it's not always the dollar. The prices can't always go up. So he kind of misses the boat there. Anyway, a little bit more alligator
prices instead of declining currency strength. When the general public begins to grasp that it's not goods becoming more expensive, but currencies buying less, it marks the tipping point where faith in fiat currencies collapses. This understanding is key to shaping strategies for financial preservation. Gold, unlike fiat currency, has stood the test of time. For over 5,000 years, it has been a reliable store of value. Its purchasing power remains steady, even as currencies crumble. In the past year alone, gold has seen significant gains. As Alistair notes, prices recently surged past $2,712 per ounce, challenging previous highs. While this excites traders, the wise investor understands that the value of gold hasn't changed. Currencies have
bullshit. And the value of gold has gone up. Why did it go from 2,200 to 2,700? If the dollar's been inflated for 50 years, what are you talking about? And the other part I get is they never explain gold, why it is stable and why it's been money for 5,000 years. They don't understand that. It's because you can't print it. So if printing the dollar creates the value going down of the euro, the yen, the Swiss franc, the British pound, if it's all the same, where you're printing and the value goes down, and that's what's happening to all the currencies in the world, but you can't print gold. That's why gold stands the test of time, not because it's light or not because you dig it out of the ground. It's because you can't inflate it, you can't counterfeit it, you can't print more of it. Up comes 3,000 tons a year, but the demand is much higher than that, and that's what you got. So you've got that normal demand because people now, do all the people realize the dollar's going out who buy gold, or do they just like gold because they know it can't be inflated, which is also my theory. Gold goes up because people want it because it's limited. This card goes up, Mahomes, because there's only 50 of them. So people are attracted like me to buy it. The only reason I bought it, it was 50. If it was a regular card, I wouldn't have bought it, or I wouldn't have spent more than $2 on it. So is gold being bought because it's limited? And that's why it never goes to zero. So you have a no risk asset like a Picasso. Is it ever going to go down? Is a Rolex watch ever going to go down? Is the PSA 9 mantle card ever going down? No, they never will go down, because they are limited and there is demand. And so is a Rolex going up because the dollar's going down? Indirectly, yes, but also the demand for the watch spikes it, or the demand for the mantle card spikes it. Demand creates price increases. The dollar going down affects it affects most things because it takes more dollars to buy them. But that's not the only reason prices go up. If there is demand for something, prices will go up. And then it doesn't explain when prices come down. So if gold's $27.50, now it's $26.50. Oh shit, it lost $100. Explain that one, because the prices, the money didn't get any stronger. The money's still ridiculously inflated and worthless. So the money's still worth the same. It's worth like 1 cent. So $100 bill is worth $1. It's still worth $1. What do you mean? So gold goes up what? It's worth what? 95 cents. That's going to drive the price of gold up. He misses that point of it, that it's the demand, because it's limited and you can't inflate it and you can't price fix it. Well, you can price fix it, but you can't inflate it. And that's why gold is demanded, because I know if I own gold, I'm safe. More so than I'm worried about the dollar going down. And only if there's inflation do I buy gold. I bought gold. This is 1995. Did we have inflation? Well, I knew we did, but that's 1995. I bought it. You buy it because it's a good value. It's a good thing to buy, not because as Warren Buffett says, well, it's really serves no use. It does serve a use. It protects you from the dollar going down. And because it's limited, it actually makes you money. He'd make a lot more money in gold than he does in his stupid stocks, in his Coca-Colas or whatever. All right.
Appreciate it. This distinction is crucial because it frames gold not as a speculative asset, but as a defensive one. In uncertain economic times, holding physical gold is akin to holding a lifeboat in a stormy sea.
Now they're stealing my lifeboat
to make a quick profit, but about accumulating it steadily to protect against the eroding value of fiat money. Investors often turn to gold ETFs for convenience, but they are a flawed substitute for owning physical gold. Alistair warns that ETF holders don't actually own the underlying gold. Instead, they hold shares controlled by clearinghouses, custodians, and intermediaries. In the event of a market disruption, these paper claims may prove worthless. Moreover, ETFs and derivatives add layers of complexity and counterparty risk. They are part of a financial system heavily reliant on collateral. A crisis in derivatives could force these intermediaries to liquidate assets, jeopardizing the stability of ETFs. This underscores the importance of owning physical gold, free from the entanglements of paper claims. While gold is the centerpiece of wealth preservation, silver offers a unique opportunity for outsized returns. The current gold to silver ratio hovers around 85-1, a level that Alistair describes as nonsensical. Historically, this ratio has been much lower, closer to 15-1 during periods when silver was treated as money.
But you have no idea what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 7-1 based on what you dig out of the ground. But the problem is, since you're price fixing silver, you're not letting silver go up because you've got all these derivatives that you're going to lose $1 trillion with, JP Morgan. So you can't let the price go up. Gold, you're trying to keep the price down because you have the same derivatives, but you've got the rest of the world buying gold, all the BRICS, all of China and Russia. So since you have all of that, you can't control gold as easily as you can control silver. Now there's a 4-year backlog in silver. So silver is about to go through the moon also, because you can only price fix it for so long. It's holding the fingers in the dam. You can only hold it, and then it just starts cracking, and then all the other water starts going, and then there's 20 holes instead of 5, so you run out of fingers. And that's basically what you're doing with silver. So this whole ratio, who cares? It's meaningless. It's again the price fixing of JP Morgan, who are trying to keep the price of silver down so they don't get killed on their derivatives, because they'll have to buy tons and tons of silver at this market, which is going to make the price jump to the moon. And that's what's going to happen, because you owe delivery on the silver. People are coming for silver, and they're going right to the silver mines, the Chinese, the Indians, right to the silver mines, and paying a lot more for it. So these people don't know what they're talking about, right? This is when they're idiots and they don't understand price fixing and trying to trend price fixing and trying to do ratios that aren't real numbers anyway. Silver's not a $30 asset. It's at least $500-$600 asset. So when I go buy for $30, which I just did Friday, I paid $31 an ounce. I got two 2-ounce maples because I already bought. So it gave me 14. It filled the tube. So I got 14 2-ounce maples at roughly $31 an ounce. But I know that's not the real value of them. It's probably $1,000 an ounce in my mind because of the price fixing. Now, if they keep price fixing, yeah, then then it's never going to go up because they're price fixing it because they're playing this derivative game, which is a joke. But since the banks are in charge, they're never going to say no. However, with Russia, China, and COMEX and BRICS, now we got some guys on our side who want these prices to go up, who are demanding the gold and silver because they know you can't inflate it and they're going to all get rich off of it. So they understand that. And so that's now the game's changed, where it's not just the US, now it's the world buying gold. And that's where they can't possibly there's nothing they can do. So that's the whole key to it. It's the demand because it can't be inflated. So it's a safe investment. If I buy gold at 2,700, I have no problem because you can't inflate it down to zero. You can try to inflate the paper derivatives because they're leveraged 4% physical and 96% bullshit. So you have that, but that's stopping. And then once it breaks, then you're going to see a much different ball game. All right.
Gold prices rise, silver prices tend to rise even faster, narrowing the gap in the gold to silver ratio. This amplifies gains for investors who add silver to their portfolios. With industrial demand for silver surging, driven by its use in electronics, solar panels, and medical equipment, silver is poised for a strong performance in the coming years. The year 2024 has been a year of awakening for many investors as fiat currencies continue to erode. However, the financial pressures on these currencies will only intensify in 2025. Mountains of government debt, particularly in Western economies, will become increasingly unmanageable. Central banks, which have already resorted to unprecedented monetary easing, will find their options narrowing. As fiat currencies weaken further, the spotlight will shift toward real money, gold and silver. The combination of public disillusionment with fiat systems and the growing debt crisis will create a perfect storm for precious metals. Investors who position themselves.
Yeah, we already know that. So this is the problem. People don't know it because they're not taught it. So here's what I've come up with is the problem. Because people don't know anything about gold and silver or money for that matter, they don't understand what money is and that the government controls it. They don't understand people can just, they don't understand what money is. It's what everybody wants. And they don't understand that if you print a lot of it, it makes it worthless. You flood the market, it's worthless. People don't understand that concept. They think, oh, the money's fine. Nothing can happen to it. It's been around for all these years and nothing could happen. And that's the furthest thing from the truth. But this is the problem. People don't understand that. And therefore, they can't see the writing on the wall. And then when they go, then they'll, well, let me talk to my financial advisor, who is a salesman who all he wants to do is make commission. We'll say, no, there's nothing wrong with the dollar. Oh, no, you don't want gold. And you listen to him because you're an idiot, because you don't know, you're not doing your own research, and therefore you're relying on the financial advisor to tell you what to do. And we all know what happens when you rely on other people to tell you what to do. And so you're telling him what to do. He's telling you what to do, and but he's not going to tell you, oh, they're inflating the dollar, it's going to be worthless. Get your money out of stocks and bonds and real estate and go into gold. He can't tell you that because he doesn't get commission on it. And he's selling hamburgers and hot dogs. He can't tell you to get into Chinese food, even though that might be the way to go. He can't tell you that. He's got to tell you to stay in hamburgers and hot dogs because that's what's on our menu. Excuse me. So this is how people get bad information. They don't know what they're doing and where to go. So that's why people are in the dark that the dollar's gone, that the dollar has no value, because they keep using it. Oh, I can go to the grocery store and use my debit card or use my credit card. I go get a paycheck. They pay me in dollars. What's wrong? We'll go to the grocery store, fill your cart. It used to cost you $70. Now costs you $700. That's the problem with it. It's that the value of the dollar's gone down. It's at zero in my mind. And the government won't tell you because it's just a Ponzi scheme with them. And they're just printing the money, putting it in their pockets, but they don't even probably understand to buy gold and silver. So the government wants this control over you, I guess. I really don't know what that's about. How they can't control us. I mean, even with the laws, there's a speed limit and red lights, yellow lights, green lights. People don't listen to that too often. Everybody speeds. Everybody runs red lights when we deem it safe, right? If it's 9 o'clock at night and there's nobody on the road and there's a red light, you're going to really stop at it. You're going to be cautious, but you're probably going to keep going anyway, because that's exactly what they're trying to do, is control us. But we don't allow that. So we understand here that the dollar's worthless, and that's the key that 99% of the people don't get, that the dollar's worthless, and they keep printing it because they got to pay for Social Security and they got to pay for Medicare and the government and the military and the interest on the debt. They have to pay for all that, and they just print money out of thin air, which makes more money in circulation, which makes the value of it drop even further. But gold is there because it's limited, because you can't inflate it. So would I have bought this card if they could make another 500 of them? No, but because they're numbered to 50, I know they can't make any more than the 50. And if I see another, this is 41 out of 50. If I see another 41 out of 50, I sue the company, because you can't do that. You can only put, if you're saying it's 50, you can only print 50 of them. And if you're going to number out of 50, 10 out of 50, 20, if there's another 10 out of 50, then you're basically fucked. So anyway, that's what you have to understand, is you got to get to the truth, and you don't understand it because it's not being taught. Keynesians being taught, and they never talk about the money supply or inflation. They talk about unemployment and the growth in the economy and all that shit, which is all meaningless. The trade surplus or whatever, who cares? That doesn't mean anything. All that matters is you keep the money. You keep the money fine, right? You got to keep the money strong. That's the most important thing to do. After that, don't print it to death. And that's why gold and silver should be used. It's good for us. It's bad for them. They can't keep printing. That's the problem. We want to be in an asset that can't be printed and can't be inflated. That's how it holds value. So if we're going to do an investment, if we're going to buy gold, we don't want them, we go into it because you can't inflate it, right? That's why we go into it. And then we're getting out of dollars, and then it's pretty, it's gold, it's highly demanded anyway. And then we understand that it's all COMEX's bullshit Ponzi scheme price of derivatives, not the free real market. So if you understand those 4 or 5 concepts, then it's a very easy purchase as much as you can. Every paycheck, you go buy some silver, and a couple paychecks, you don't owe anything, and you buy an ounce or a half ounce. And that's what you do. And it's a trade. It's not a spent. You didn't, like, if you go get dinner, you've spent money for dinner. You've traded. I'll give you this money for dinner, and I get the dinner, and I eat because I have to eat, and the dollar. So I've traded it. And in this case, you've traded your dollar for gold, let's say. And so it's worth $2,700 an ounce, and you pay $2,800 an ounce because you got to pay a premium. That's what you got to do to buy it. They do make the little bit of premium on it. But if you need the money, you can just go back and say, give me, they won't give you the premium back. So you'll get $2,700 back for it. And they'll give you the bullshit dollars back if you need it for bills or something. But that's the thing. You can trade it right back in for more dollars if you need to. So it's a perfect thing. I can trade this back for dollars, but I got to go to, there's no store to go to. I got to go to eBay to probably get a better price. Where gold, I can go back to the gold store and he's going to give me spot for it, roughly spot. So that's really the key to it. And, but you got to understand all that, and which you do from me, but normally most people don't have me. So they're going to their financial planner who's never going to explain this to anybody. You're getting a very rare class because there's maybe 2 or 3 of me that actually can teach this and understand. Peter Schiff can't teach it. Andy Scheckman can't teach it. They don't understand. Alligator doesn't get it. Egon gets it, which is why I show Egon and Mark McGuire a little bit. But that's it. And they're not economists. But Egon's close. He's a banker or whatever. But he gets the government will keep printing money, which will make it worthless, which gold and silver goes up. But nobody really wants to hear from me and Egon because we're pulling the curtain back and you're seeing the wizard. And the wizard doesn't want you to see him. He wants the curtain pulled, not pulled back, and you don't know, and keep you in the dark. And that's what's happening here. So that's why I say buy the gold and silver, because they can't inflate it. All right. So it's 1:00, time for football. Have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Good luck. Again, Atlanta, Washington's a playoff game. Detroit needs it. Green Bay needs it. Philly and Dallas. Philly needs it to clinch. We've got a lot of AFC games yesterday. I guess Indy can still get in if they win. Miami loses, they win again. And I don't know, Cincy and Denver lose, they get in. I don't know. They have a very small chance, but Indy does have something to play for. Detroit in a revenge game, trying to clinch. So anyway, that's what you got this week, and we will see. All right, college balls. Had to lock Miami yesterday over, and it won. I've played the playoff games already. I'll probably add a few more college games if I can figure them out. Like I was waiting for Cam Ward to play. I locked it over because he did play. And that's the same thing I've got to see here. Who's playing in these like Michigan, Alabama games? Michigan's been known to have all their guys sit out, and they're a bunch of crybabies. So this is the problem. How can you bet on a team that you don't know if any of their players are playing? So it's ridiculous. They should be fined to play. Anyway, that's about it. So www.teaserking.com. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good day. And now we're getting into Happy New Year. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays. Have a nice day, everybody. Enjoy.